so proud of that fact. That's the first thing he said to me, too. Okay, I am so excited to be here, and with friends, too. I see Deanne. She taught my BYU methods class many years ago. She's the one that introduced me to the bass. I had never played the bass until I was in your class, and I could not wrap my head around those fourths. I'm like, God, jeez. Now I get it, and I actually love playing the bass. BYU friend, is that true? I believe that I came to this conference with you. Is that a lie? We drove together down to this conference back when I was a BYU student. How fun is that? Old friends, I love it. So I've been teaching in Las Vegas since the year 2000 when I graduated from BYU. And I just have a bunch of fun. I teach at Hyde Park Middle School, and I have a large program, 7 periods of orchestra a day, and then sometimes after school chamber orchestras, and sometimes it's 8 orchestras in a row, and I'm worn out. But I have a lot of energy, you'll see, so I make it through the day. I want to share with you things that I do in the beginning classroom. And I have a student teacher right now, and I think that if you get down some of the processes and routines, it can really help alleviate a lot of stress. You know, just have fun with the kids is basically what I'm getting at. I think it's good whether you teach high school, junior high, whatever, to get back to the basics. Quite honestly, I'll attend conferences and I'll be sitting there and say, I used to do that. Why did I stop doing that? I'm going to get back to doing that. A lot of the information that I'll present is not new, profound stuff, okay? It's the basics. But a lot of times, for some reason, you know, I've been teaching 14 years now, and the basics that I used to do aren't so prevalent, you know, in my teaching anymore. So maybe I can spark some ideas, of course, okay? So, this is our demo orchestra, and I'm really, really glad that they're here. I love to work with students. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is note saying your notes. Singing in class, vocalizing in class is essential. As I travel around, I see that some of these orchestras, they don't do it. I can tell because they're so nervous, and you know, I say note names every day in class. And that is one basic that I will not give up, because I truly, truly believe in the power of saying your note names. I'm not talking about finger numbers, I'm saying note names, and I believe it's really powerful. Now, something that Terry Shade, my mentor teacher in Las Vegas, taught me is that you can incorporate a note naming system with numbers that is really, really powerful to count through durations of notes. The reason why beginning orchestras have such trouble sight reading grade 1 material is because they play everything as a quarter note. Everything as a quarter note. They're not counting through the duration because sight reading is rhythm reading. And a lot of times we're only teaching them, okay, that's a B, that's an F sharp. But I love this system of naming notes with numbers, because not only are they vocalizing that it's a B, but they're counting through the duration. And we're about to show you. If you have a sample book, I would love you to be, if you don't, just look up to this screen. We're on page 5, number 6, hello half note. This is what I mean by counting through the duration. They are going to say the count that the note is being held for. Are you ready? We are not going to pluck this at all. We are just going to say. Now we're going to start with a count off, a group pulse, so that everyone is on page together. Now my classes are so trained that by the time I scream rest, my classes are 2, 3, 4. Let's see if you guys are trained up. Rest. 2, 3, 4. D, 2, G, 4. Rest, 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 rest. D, 2, G, 4. Rest, rest, rest. You did so good. You almost said all your notes. That is terrific. I love it. Now look, kids are kids, and they are reluctant to always say their notes. 2 things will help, okay? Standing right by them. It's amazing. Just my presence, right here with a kid in class, how that improves their vocalization of the notes. It really will work. You know, in Las Vegas, I'll get the meanest gangster-looking kids who accidentally sign up for orchestra. The counselor put me in here. And I can get them to say their note names. Sometimes I'm right here, but they're saying them, okay? And that is so important. Edge of our seats, you can put your bows on your stand. I'm going to use them for a second. I love the first 4 pages of open strings because when they're new in my class, my focus is to get them set up. These kids look really set up, so I'm glad I won't have to work so hard. Go to the edge of your seat, put your instrument in playing position. You're going to pizzicato, line 6. That low half note. Now, sometimes it gets a little drab, so I love play-along tracks. I love them. Some of the old school teachers tell me I don't use play-along tracks. I love them, especially in this early stage where they're just doing pizzicato. Oh my gosh, it's a metronome, it's ear training, and it's fun. I use them. Do I exclusively use them? No. I mix it, you know, I'll have them play, I'll teach the line, and then we use them. Let's see. Count along with it. Music.
Fast, 2, 3,
Say it.
4.
Rest. I do drive a lot. So now we're going to see if we truly understand this. We're going to go turn the page, page 11. We're mixing it up. And I'll tell you what, it's really, really valuable to mix durations here when we're... Did I say page 11? Number 11, page 6. Combo time. What we're going to do is we're going to mix it up. And we're going to see how good our class is. We're just going to sing and vocalize this. Ready? Rest.
2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4. E, G, G, G. Rest, 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 rest. A, 2, A, 4.
Good job. So my friend, the first year cellist, what's your name? Jordan. Okay? He does a very, very common mistake in beginning orchestra. He said D2, D2. And this is an easy fix. I go to the board and I draw 2 half notes and I write the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. And I show them that we're actually bringing down the count that it's being held for. And this really helps them understand counting throughout the measure. It's really, really good. But you will get the occasional, you know, D2, D2, like R2. You know what I mean? Let's try it one more time. There's no mistakes, no mistakes. Play along track. You guys can love this. Ready?
Rest, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, you guys are amazing. So now, after 4 pages and everybody's set up, my next goal is to get everybody's left hand shape exactly where I want it. So let's go on to Clouds of Many Colors. I believe it's page 29. 29. Okay? Number, please forget the page. It's number 29. Number 29. Clouds of Many Colors. If I say page, you know it. Okay? Clouds of Many Colors. Now, we are going to test their note naming and rhythm reading ability. Clouds of Many Colors. Are you guys ready? I'll get my candy for kids for doing good. Ready? Rest!
2, 3, 4. E, 2, D, 4. E, 2.
Oh, you're doing it! You're doing it!
F sharp 2.
That's a good boy! I love it!
F sharp 2. F sharp 2. F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, F sharp. E, 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 D, 2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4.
I'm telling you what, counting through a whole note like this and pizzicato is brilliant. It just helps so much. I can't tell you how much it helps. Let's try it, you guys, with the music. End your seat, feet flat on the floor, back straight, shoulders up. You got it, Mark.
Rest, 2,
Wait.
rest,
That was a false start.
2, 3, 4.
D2. Same way, play it. F sharp 2, F sharp 4. F sharp 2, F sharp 4. F, E, E, E. hard to go like this. E, 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 E. Very inaccurate. So while we're pizzicatoing and we're working on left hand shape, let's focus on keeping the hand hovering over the note. D, E. Do you see where I'm going with that? All right. Now that we've really perfected left hand technique, I kind of blend the next couple pages with 4 pages of open string bowing that we have on page 14. And I mean page 14. Okay? Page 14. So basically, to do pizzicato the entire class period is going to cause a blister. So what we do, we start pizzicato with review, and then I go into like my teaching mode, you could say, where I will talk about musical issues, and we'll do a pencil bow grip, right? And then as soon as I'm satisfied with the pencil bow grip, we'll go back to pizzicato, right? And this will go on for weeks. And I'll be like, okay, we're finally ready to move on to the bow stick, and how excited are they? And, oh, we're not gonna bow, we're just gonna hold it. And I choose to hold it at the balance point because it's the easy transition to the pencil grip. Now, when I first started teaching, I started bowing at the balance, which my mentor teacher insisted was the only way to do it. I don't believe this. But I definitely transitioned from pencil to balance, right? And so after I really am convinced that they've got the bow hold down, and this is all during the pizzicato, right? Then what we'll do is we'll slide the bow grip down, and once we have a really great bow grip here, vertical bow grip, if I'm at the frog, it's vertical, then we put it on the string. And I actually start bowing at the frogs when I start bowing, but this works too. I did it for several years. But kids tend to stay there if I let them start bowing there. So I've moved down to the frog. But I think it works as a nice balance. Now, if we're on page 14, the first thing we're going to do is rosin exercises. Now, these can be done vertically or they can be done on a cake of rosin. I like the rosin because how many times have students come into my classroom with their internet special violin and they're like, Mr. W, my bow does not work at all. Look, it doesn't work. And then I take a cake of rosin, I rosin that up, I play, and I'm like, it's an orchestra miracle. And so, honestly, if you get, before we ever bow, if we get everybody on some cakes of rosin, I'm not going to run into that problem. But since we don't have our cakes of rosin, we're going to air bow and say 58 with our perfect bowing shape. Ready? Rest, 2, air, bow, and say, go. Down, 2, rest, rest, up, 2. Rest, down, 2, rest, up, 2. Rest and stop. Now we don't have to repeat. My school has been pushing a lot of peer interaction, Kagan learning kind of. I think stand partner work at this stage, and actually the stage before with left hand, is the most exciting thing that I've done in the last 5 years that I didn't used to do 5 years before that. I started doing stand partner work, and it's amazing when they start working with each other, how they're like, no, your pinky should be on the top of the stick, and your thumb should be bent, and then when they sit down to do it, they don't want to be hypocrites, right? They're going to do exactly, and with their peer telling them what they should do, they listen to their peer a lot more than they listen to me. Stand partner work has been really, really valuable in my teaching this last year, and we're going to do a little bit of that. Now, before we do stand partner work, we're going to have our friends stand up for us. I, of course, want to model for the kids what I expect them to work on in their stand partner. So would you put your bow on the string? He's so tall. The kids in Las Vegas are shorter than this, I swear to God. It's a lot easier. Now, at this point, friends, when you work with your stand partner, which we're going to do, I want to make sure that the bow stick is straight. And just by having a little bit of bend right here in the elbow or wrist will really help to make sure. A lot of kids, as you know, will put their bow on the stick, on the string, and have it completely crooked because of this straight wrist right. And I just tell them, little bend. I call it a gooseneck. I didn't invent that. A swan neck, okay, will really, really help. Now, how I'm going to help him, stand partners, is I'm going to touch his elbow right here. And I'm going to pull on his bow as we bow a half note D. And it's going to look like this. D, 2, and we're going to go all the way to the tip. Rest, rest. Then we're going to go back. D, 2, rest, rest. And you're going to have a slight bend right here, okay? We're going to try it again. D, 2, rest, rest. D, 2, rest, and stop. Now try it by yourself. Ready, go. 2, rest, rest. 2, rest, and stop. You can sit down. Now, with your stand partner, I expect you to make sure that their bow stick is going straight. Okay, we're going to do this. Make sure that they're drawing their bow very perfectly straight across the string in a smooth sound. Now, friends, one thing that you can say to the kids that really help for all the 4-string instruments is the hand, fingers, should always be going parallel with the string. Now watch this. If you notice, I have a crooked bow. My fingers are not parallel with the string. Now this works on cello, bass, works on everything. Because for the bow stick to be straight, the fingers need to be parallel with the string. And how I'm going to make the fingers parallel with the string is I'm going to turn my wrist, are you with me? And this works for cello and bass. So I'm going to turn. Now as I draw my bow across the string, my fingers are no longer parallel with the string. Right here. Now they're parallel. They should be going the same way. I also talked about opening up the elbow. Now I love to start the kids on half note bow speed. I know a lot of methods start with this. And that's fine. But I think that a lot of the bowing is going on in the shoulder. And, you know, I told you I had a student teacher, and the observing teacher from UNLV came in and said, "Wow, is this your intermediate class?" No, it's my beginning class, because they're pulling this rich tone, you know? They're opening up their elbows, and that makes it sound so mature. It sounds so good. And I love, because, yes, when I go to 8th notes, I fight the problem of using too much bow, but that, for me, is an easier battle than trying to get them to open up after they've been playing for months and months. I love this. I love this. So, friends, one of you is going to put your instrument down and stand up. The other person is going to be the student. The person standing is the teacher. If you're not standing, I know that you're not the teacher. So one of you should be standing. Decide quickly. If you can't decide, the taller person should be the teacher. The taller person is the teacher. You can always do that, make it fast, okay? The taller person is the teacher. Stand up and help them bow half notes. Go. Now, while they're working, I want to tell you a very embarrassing story. So, my principal came into my room while we were doing stand partner work with one of the head school district people. I was in the back of the room. I was in the back of the room like this. I saw him walk through the door. I was like a rabbit in the headlights. It was just like in the headlights. I was so embarrassed that I went during my lunch period to apologize to the principal. I said, "I am so sorry." I said, "I can count on my hand how many times I actually even sit down when I'm teaching orchestra." I mean, that never happens. She's like, "I know. That's why I brought her in to see you teach. She's a great teacher." Okay, sit down. The only reason I share that very embarrassing story is stand partner work is not free time for the teacher. Stand partner work is your time while the class is occupied to walk around, make sure that they're working, and / work with both of them who don't get it. You know what I mean? And I just think that it's really valuable to have peers interact with each other. And the more I use it, and you got to have a structure for it, and I do have a structure. One person stands, the other person plays, switch. You know, I have it very structured, and it's not a very long time. 5 minutes max. You know what I mean? For both of them. It's not a very long time, but if you have a very structured, the more I do it, the more I love it, and the more I do it, if that makes sense. I love stand partner work. So now that we're bowing perfectly straight, let's go on to just 61. Slow bow, here we go. Ready? At your seats, feet flat on the floor, back straight, shoulders up. Rest. 2, 3, 4. 2. Rest. Rest and stop. Now, friends, this is what I saw. D2. This is what I want to see. D2. Rest. Rest. I want you to love that word. D2. Rest. Frog the tip with exactly a really, really straight bow. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Look at your bow. Look at your bow. Swan neck, cello bass. There is, not bass, cello. There is slight bend here. There is slight bend here to make sure that that stick is still straight. Okay, you can relax, rest position. Up to this point, I expect them to put their fingers on the tape, but intonation is not my biggest issue. As soon as we put the bow and fingers together, intonation now becomes my biggest issue. Because with pizzicato, you can be fuzzy with the intonation, it'll sound okay. When you start arco, half notes with the fingers, intonation is, well, the kids are aware and so are you. Intonation is now my focus, okay? And the best thing I can say to you is a tonic drone. Now I have with me a little speaker here, so I put on a D pitch. And I will run this while we're playing in D major, if that makes sense. One of my last year student teacher, Rebecca Gray, started teaching this year, and she's like, I'm having such a trouble right now with intonation. It seems like your intonation is not getting better. I said, do you do rote exercises at the beginning of the class period with a tonic drone? Not really. And I said, that will make a huge difference in your intonation during the whole class period. When I practice my cello, I love tonic drones to start out my practice session. I know some teachers are against using a tuner like the dial because you need to be using your ears. Well, this is ear training. But you have an electronic pitch source will really help to compare the pitches. I'll show you what I mean. Class, we're going to play this. D, G, E, E, F sharp, G, G. Everyone's going to play it, then I'm going to call on the solos, okay? Put your ball here. Rest, 2, play it, go, and. Themselves. Now the whole class. 2, ready and go, and. Ashland solo, go. I'll keep this up for 5 minutes on the same pattern. Everybody go, and. Themselves, I don't have to say, no, it's flat. No, it's move it up a little bit. Move it down. No, that's it. This tonic will help so much with intonation. I'm going to keep showing you how it helps. 2, everybody go, and. First hand cello duet. Ready, go, and. What note did not blend perfectly? sharp. Let's try it again, everybody. 2. Ready, blend your F sharp better. Next stand of cellos, we'll do a duet better than the first stand. Ready, go. Oh, what note was that tune? There, G, right? But you got the F sharp. I like that. 2. Everybody go. And. Now the reason it's always solo everybody, duet everybody, because it keeps everybody in the game. You know what I mean? It's always solo everybody, section everybody. You know what I mean? You gotta, because class pacing, huge. You know this, right? Class pacing, keep them playing. You know, if you're on the soccer team, you want to play. Okay, you don't want to sit there and listen to how to kick the ball with the inside of your foot. You know what I mean? You want to play, and let them play. And I believe that the more playing they do on their instrument, the better. Now, we're going to skip all the way to number 105, where we introduce fourth finger to these violinists. If you notice, there's lots of duets in the book, and the reason, let me finish my statement. The reason there's so many duets, most of the duets are just open D for tonic tuning, right? Fourth finger, violinists go. It sounds like you're opening. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's because the timbre is completely different, and it is, and it doesn't sound like open A, but if you compare that fourth finger A to a D, that perfect fifth, they'll fix it right up. I mean, they will fix it right up. They'll hear that blend, they'll fix it. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Yeah.
Is there a good drone app, or what do you use?
This is called ClearTune.
ClearTune.
My favorite tuning app in the world. I use it for my cello. I'm in the Philharmonic. I drop my iPhone on my bridge. And even though the oboe and the trumpets are going crazy, it'll still pick up without even a bridge clip, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it also has these pitch pipe over here. A lot of people don't even know about the part of this app. So it has the needle tuner, but if you go over to the pitch pipe, click on that, that allows you to play all the chromatic pitches in any octave. Here, I'm going to hurt all the dog's ears. Can't even hear that because that's people who do that. But
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so back to fourth finger. We are all going to air bow and say our notes in 105. Rest, 2, air bow and say your notes. Go. G, G, E, E. I don't like to let the kids just play the line because they're setting up for failure. Okay, stop there. Because this failure is what I'm talking about. Look at measure 3. What did they try and do to measure 3? They tried to play them as quarter notes. And me, I'm the expert, I'm the teacher, I don't want them to go and fail immediately. By the time they put bow on string and play the line, I want to make sure that I've done it probably 3 times. Set it, pizzicato, did all this other stuff to set them up for success by the time they play. My goodness, because if you set them up and they're failing every time, they're frustrated, you're frustrated. Why? Why do that? You know what I mean? And my student teacher, I tell her, look, think, be creative. How many different ways can you play that line without playing that line? You know what I mean? Let's be as creative as we can today. And she's creative. You guys are going to do it again. Did you see measure 3's half note? You're going to say A2, right? Rest. 2, say it again, and go. And G, G, E, E, F sharp, G, G, A2, A4, A2, A4, A, G, G, F sharp, E, E, D2, D4, D2, rest. Really awkward for my friend, I know. But I saw that he wasn't tracking the notes with his eyes. That is a red flag. That's an immediately huge red flag. Either kid's a genius and just memorize every line in the book, or they're not tracking the music with their eyes, okay? And tracking the music is a big deal. So often I'll stand, I'll point. If they're not tracking, I'll insist. I'll tell them to quit looking at me. Okay? I know I'm ugly, but looking at me, okay? It makes me feel awkward. Look at your book. Let's both. Ready? Rest. 2, let's play the notes. 105, ready, go, and And do you notice they're fixing those G's? Did you hear them fix it? They just fix it. I didn't say anything. They fixed it. Ready, everybody, go! But we're going to flip a couple more pages, a lot more pages, to eighth notes. Now, when I introduce eighth notes, this is when I introduce a new, not to us, but the traditional counting system, the traditional rhythmic counting system. I have a friend in Las Vegas, Ray Brown. I said, Ray, are you doing that D2, D4? He's like, no. Why? It works so good. Because I like the traditional counting system better. I said, Ray, you misunderstand me completely. No, they're not the same. This is a note naming system that involves numbers. I also use the counting system, so my students know the difference. Let's say our notes. They're going to say their notes and numbers, right? Let's say the rhythm. Let's say the counts. That's the traditional system. Do you see what I mean? One is a note naming system that involves numbers, which is so good. If you take anything, try it. Just try it. Note naming system with numbers. Just try it. You'll like it, okay? So, we're on eighth notes. This is how we do it. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Shrink the eighth note. Ready? 2. Say it in the air. Go. 1 and 2 and 3, 4.
1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4.
Because they've been playing like this all year. This is where I have to fight the amount of bow that they'll use, okay? And I make a big deal of eighth notes. The faster you go, the less bow you're going to use. Shrink the bow for eighth notes. Now let me show you. Nobody do that. Okay, ready? Let's try it. Rest and 2 and 144. Go! Stop there. I was so unclear in my directions. Can we just play the notes? G, 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 E, E. I know that top line is a rhythm line, and often I'll do that top rhythm line on open D, right? I was very unclear. We're going to play the notes. It's up the D major scale. Ready? 1 and 2, D scale, and go, and. Alright, really nice. So, when we change keys to mixed pattern, I think this is page 34 or 5. Mixed pattern. I'm going to change my drone. Instead of D, I'm going to use G. Actually, D would work because it's the dominant, but so I'm going to change my drone. And this change of pattern is going to be like this. B, B, C, C, D, 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 E, E, F sharp, G, G, G. We're only going to play the first 4 measures of that line. Look, 1, 2 pattern on the A string, 2, 3 pattern on the D string. Let's air bow and say it. 2, ready, air bow and say, go. B, B, C, C. I'm looking for people who are singing it. 4, E, E, F sharp, G, G, G. Pizzicato, rest, 2, pluck the notes, go. G, G, G. Awesome, let's blow it. Rest. 2 with the bow. Go. Good. course with Matt Wilbur, and he would walk down and put his ear up to your face to hear what you were singing. I don't know if he could hear anything, but it sure made me concentrate. Did you see me with these poor little violas over here? Presence. I'm telling you what, how much have I conducted these kids? They're beginners. Do you really need to like be up there beating? Besides, I want them to work on listening skills, right? Listening and blending and stuff. And I need to move around. If you notice, they're in their stand partners, but I deliberately created an aisle here. And in my classroom full of 80 kids in one period, which I do, okay, I have aisles. Okay, if I can't get to them, discipline in 80 kids is going to be a, but if they know Mr. W's headed down the aisle, oh my God, you know what I mean? I have a lot less discipline issues. And also, if I need to fix somebody in a class of 80, I'm there. I'm right here helping her. And you can, if you have the space, I have a large room, okay? I've been in rooms that are not large. But if you have the space to create a slight aisle between each section, it will help you get around. So let's play it with the drum. Ready? B, rest, 2, everybody, go, and. Everybody go and ready? Jonas, stand partner, go! About that second finger, he's hearing it. He's hearing it before he plays it. 2, everybody go, and. I like to get on my soapbox. So a lot of teachers are afraid to take this much class time playing solos and duets on a single pattern over and over again. I have got to learn first scale march. I've got to. When I was a first year teacher, I was trying to, our December concert with my beginners, we had first scale march, all this other literature. And Terry Shade, my mentor teacher, came in and she said, why don't you just do a skills demonstration concert? Just show the parents what you learned in class up to that point. Parents loved it. And I was able to teach. I was able to teach them what we were working on. Now, since then, I have really been more about method book than literature in junior high. I'm solely a junior high teacher, okay? I think teaching skills is more important than teaching literature. Don't kill me. Okay? I think that, and I firmly believe it. Now, and I've done this. My year 3 used to not use a method book. My year 2 would use a method book sometimes. And my beginners were the only ones using the method book. Now all of my classes use a method book for half the period, and then I go to literature. I used to be so tired of our songs for 3 months, same song over and over. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Now we spend the last couple minutes on class on our literature, and you would think, uh-oh, not enough time on literature. But if they know their skills, then they can play their literature. And I feel good about my teaching. They come out of junior high, and they go to programs like LBA and Clark, who have amazing orchestras, okay? And I'm going to take a little bit of credit. I think they're going into that high school prepared, because they have been through all 3 method books and know their technique. Instead of showing up, well, I can play first scale march, and I've done Dragon Hunter Slayer, and I've done, and they've memorized those songs, because I know, because I taught high school also split day for my first 2 years, and that's exactly what I got. kids who are like, I want to play hard music. I do too. I do too. But we can't because you don't know how to read notes at all. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? And me as a junior high teacher, I believe that technique is important. And I will take, okay, back off my rant. I will take the time in my class to perfect this mixed pattern instead of, bashing first scale march over it, for 3 months. I think literature and concerts are important, don't get me wrong. But I just know my place as a junior high orchestra teacher. That's what I'm saying. I'm preparing these kids for a future in music education. Okay, let's go to a song. Okay? Conquest in the back of the book. Okay? Kids dig the song, they like it. Okay, and since they've been patient, so patient, we're gonna play it. You guys ready? You said you played this once, right? So I expect perfection. Now, we're going to fix some things, okay? Let them have a chance to play. It's like soccer. Let people ball, okay? Even if it's not perfect. Let them play a little bit. Sometimes it's just too much talking. But in my class, like I say, I do a lot of playing. Even if it's just patterns, they're playing. They're playing their instrument. So what am I going to choose? Anybody? Anybody? Give me a hand. It's called tonic bass. What am I going to choose? Help me out. Some people say D, and D would work. There's a better option. Thank you. Bless your hearts, it's in B minor. This song is in B minor, okay? So I'm going to choose a B. And violins, I want you to play your first note. Ready? 1, 2, first note, go. Stop. Second violin, 2, ready, go. First violin, 2, ready, go. Softly for the next 5 minutes with the vocal. Violas, what's your note? Listen to this. F sharp. Blend your F sharp into theirs. Cellos. D. Listen to the blend, listen to the blend. D. Finally, bass. There it is. You hear it? You hear the blend? And stop. Now let's talk a little bit about that first note. Do you see the accent above it? Especially violas, since there's only 2 of you. Let's not be so nice with you. Let's go like this. Bum, bum. Let's play it like the accent is shaped. You see it's shaped? It starts out loud and gets softer. Bum, 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 bum. D, 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 D. Let's try it. This is the beginning. Ready? 1, 2, violins, go. B. Yes. That opening chord sounds like a B minor chord, okay? Now let's make that second measure, third measure, fourth measure more exciting. Let's go like this. Accent, 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 and then get softer by using, let's go like this. Dum, 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 and then start using more bow. And then try and connect the sound to measure 5. You got all that? Good luck. Ready? Starts with violin. 1, 2, violin, go! And. That's 4. softer and louder. That's called a crescendo, friends. Now, in your music, it's called get louder. A lot of people are like, why didn't you just write a crescendo? It's an interesting thing when you take part in a method book writing. I wrote Conquest long before I was even invited to participate in this method book. And I'm like, oh, we should use Conquest. Kids love it. Let's use it. She's like, okay. So I sent in the score, and they're like, we haven't taught crescendos in this book. I love the crescendo there. Get louder. There you go. Compromises, right? It's a crescendo. And how do you make crescendos effective? Get softer first, right? And that was so effective. Now, violins, bow distribution. Can I borrow your fiddle? Watch this. We are in new songs. Okay, watch this. What did I do with the last two eighth notes? Right? Did you see that? So I'm using a good stroke here. Did you see how I did that? Let's try all violins. This is measure 7. I want to see really great bow distribution. Ready? This is measure 7. 1, 2, measure 7, go! Stop there. It was almost good. Why was it not good? Because we were not together. Let's slow it down a bit. Ba, ba, dee, da, 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 ready, go! Oh, I love that. Let's speed it up. Ba, ba, dee, da, 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 ready, go! I think you're ready to go on. Let's try 7, 8. Ready? Violin 7 and 8. 1, 2, 7 and 8, go! Woo! And that was good distribution. Bum, bum, da, da, tip, tip, ba, 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 da, lower half. Did you see how that worked? Let's try it again. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go! Listen more. Some of you are getting faster than other people. That doesn't help. Let's try it again. Ready, 7. 1, 2, measure 7, go! Woo! I love it. This is the beginning. Everybody in line. Ready? 1, 2, violins, go! And B, B. What it's like, let's have less cello, you do this all the time, and more viola, more cowbell, right? You guys played really, really well. You guys, I also want to talk that they don't have the music for this, but something that will really solve rhythmic issues. In book 2, dotted quarter note is introduced, and the dotted quarter note is when I immediately go to subdivision. I love subdivision. And the teachers over at LBA, can I borrow your violin? Teachers over, they're crazy about subdivision. Every song that they play is broken down into subdivision. So what does subdivision mean? It means break it down into it. Like for example, if there's 8 notes in the song, we would break it down. So a dotted quarter note, if you're going quarter note, it would sound like, and I draw a diagram on the board. I'm like, dotted half note, 6, right? Half note, 4, quarter note, 2, dotted quarter note, 3, and I show them the diagram. And then we go through that page in book 2 on the dotted quarter notes. We break down every song into subdivision, and then thereafter, I'm huge into subdivision. You want to fix rhythmical issues, start subdividing, start breaking that down, and it straightens up. Rushing. You know, I'm a big fan of the metronome too. I got a big old stereo system in my classroom, and when I push play on that metronome, it's Dr. Beat, and one of the voices is 1, 2. Do you know what I'm talking about? I call her Gertrude. But if we were to even in beginning orchestra, break this into subdivision. So we're gonna try that, guys. It's really fun. This is what you do. It's fun. It's fun. This is what you do. We're gonna start at measure 5, and you're gonna take out all bow directions. Okay? You're gonna take out all slurs, and you're gonna turn everything into 8 notes. We're gonna go slow. It's gonna sound like this. Up to you, may the force be with you. Ready? 1 and 2 and ready and go and. Subdivide. Switch, right? Oh, that is magic. You guys, I'm coming toward the end of my time, and I have had a blast with you guys. A lot of fun. I want to thank Chose Music for bringing me out and having me present this clinic. Do I have any real quick questions? It is 43, so I have 2-minute questions. Yes?
Really fast question. With half rest, why do you say rest instead of rest for rest 2?
I don't know. A lot of them might, and I got some smart kids there at Hyde Park, and they're like, Mr. W, shouldn't that be rest 4? I think it's up to you. Does it really matter the system? I don't think it does. I think it matters that you're vocalizing through those counts. You know what I mean? Say rest, say rest 4, but if you are saying, well, bless your hearts, okay? You are way ahead of the curve, because I'm gonna be honest, lots and lots of orchestras are not vocalizing in class. And when I went to college, what did my cello teacher tell me to do? Sing it. What? No, I don't. What? You know, and they sing, right? Vocalizing is part of music, regardless of their quality of voice. I think it's really essential. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah.
When using the method books, focus. When you have a combination class like 8th and 9th in the same
I don't
class,
teach 9th graders. I teach 6, 7, 8.
they're all in a separate class.
No.
So I'm just saying with the combined class, do you use the same method book twice in a row? For
I don't. I guess, you know, your system might be different than mine. So I have 6, 7, 8 at junior high, Hyde Park Middle School. The counselors will take my recommendation on what orchestra they should be placed in. And the good thing that I have 7 options. You know what I mean? 3 beginning, 2 intermediate, 2 advanced. I have lots of options for the kid of where they should be placed. So do I have to go over the book twice? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So do I have 6th graders in my top group? Yes, my daughter is in my top group. And I love her to death. She plays cello, okay? Do I have 8th graders, 7th graders, 6th graders? In fact, I have a huge amount of 6th graders going to the ASTA. We're going to have an orchestra at the ASTA in Salt Lake. And I'm also doing a clinic on jazz improvisation. So that'll be fun. Any other questions? Does that make sense?
So are you using 3 different method books in those 3 different classes?
Yes. Book 1, book 2, book 3. In all of my classes. All 6 of my classes have a method book. I'm not saying they love it, but they have it.
Do you have any recommendations if you have the 3 grades? Like I'll have 6, 7, and 8, but I only have a beginning and an intermediate then.
So pretty big range of ability, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Shoot for the middle. Honey, we all face that problem. We all, even me, even though I'm able to, like, my top orchestra, I put my top players. But within my top players, I have your brilliance, and you barely made it welcome. You know what I mean? It's our problem that we face daily. Shoot for the middle, right? Can't please everybody. You know what I mean? Do your best. Thank you very much, guys.